Behind the elegance of The Crown lies a maze of real-life secrets that Netflix never revealed. From hidden royal reactions to on-set controversies, these are the facts that show the monarchy's story was stranger than its fiction. Fact 1.
Why was government not consulted?
Because it's a private matter.
Queen Elizabeth II never released an official statement about the crown, but multiple palace insiders confirmed she was aware of it. According to her senior staff, she watched at least the first season in private. One aide claimed she thought it was beautifully produced, but at times too heavily dramatised. Her courtiers reportedly debated whether it humanised or trivialised her reign. Prince Edward and Sophie Rhys-Jones were said to be the royals most open about viewing it. They apparently told friends the Queen found certain scenes a bit too theatrical. Still, her quiet curiosity made headlines worldwide. British papers noted that she neither condemned nor endorsed the show. That silence functioned like royal approval in itself. Historian Robert Lacey later confirmed the palace tracked every episode's historical accuracy. They marked minor errors but admired the craft. Even critics within the family admitted it sparked public sympathy for the monarch. Her decision not to interfere reflected her lifelong motto: never complain, never explain. Watching the dramatisation of her own life, she remained the same, reserved, observant, impossible to read. The lack of comment kept the myth alive. Whether amused or offended, she stayed above the noise. It was a masterclass in royal composure, and that quiet reaction became one of the Crown's most fascinating untold stories.
I am both, and a strong man would be able to kneel to both.
I will not kneel before my wife.
Your wife is not asking you to.
But my queen commands me.
Yes.
Fact 2.
I hope that 1958 may bring you God's blessings and all the things that you long for.
To play the young queen, Claire Foy approached the role like a historian. She spent months analysing rare newsreels from the 1940s and 1950s. Linguists coached her to replicate the queen's early accent, which was more clipped than today's. She slowed her breathing to match royal poise. Her hands moved only when absolutely necessary, a reflection of studied restraint. Costume fittings were as much about psychology as fashion. She said wearing the heavy crown felt like balancing duty on your skull. Foy's portrayal won both BAFTA and Emmy awards. Behind the praise, she often admitted the pressure was enormous. She feared misrepresenting a living monarch. Director Stephen Daldry called her performance controlled vulnerability. Every pause carried weight, mirroring the Queen's silence during crisis. Foy's method was fact-based, drawing on archival transcripts of speeches. Even her handwriting in prop documents matched authentic samples. Historians later praised the realism of her depiction. Few realised how physically demanding royal stillness could be. Her dedication redefined historical acting on television.
It makes a mockery of even the central tenets of Christianity. There is no possibility of my forgiving you.
Fact 3.
Democratise it. Make them feel that they share in it. Understand it.
All right!
In 2018, producers admitted Matt Smith earned more than Claire Foy for seasons 1 and 2. The reasoning was his previous fame from Doctor Who. When the revelation emerged during a Hollywood conference, outrage spread quickly. Fans labelled it the Crown Pay Crisis. Within days, production company Left Bank Pictures issued a public apology. They promised that, from now on, no one earns more than the Queen. Claire Foy herself responded with calm professionalism, saying she was not surprised, but disappointed. The debate triggered new pay equity policies across Netflix projects. Matt Smith later donated part of his salary to the Time's Up Legal Defence Fund. Trade unions cited the case as a turning point for transparent pay structures. Entertainment journalists dubbed it the feminist moment of the Crown. The controversy also highlighted how systemic inequality hides behind prestige. By season 3, every actor's contract reflected gender parity clauses. What began as a simple negotiation became a landmark in television ethics. The real Queen stayed silent, but the fictional one changed the industry.
I'll be up in a minute.
Oh, will you?
Yes, I thought so. Unless you'd rather I wasn't.
I'll see you in a minute.
Fact 4.
Not because you've given me a title, not because we've come to an agreement, because I love you.
Prince Philip's attitude toward the crown was complicated. Friends said he disliked seeing private life dramatized. In 2017, a close confidant told the Sunday Times that Philip called it fiction, not fact. Yet he also recognized its craftsmanship. Matt Smith met him briefly at a public dinner and later said the Duke was charming but evasive. The show's portrayal of his restlessness during early marriage stung some acquaintances. However, royal biographers confirmed that tension was historically accurate. Philip's naval career had been curtailed by royal duty, and he struggled with that loss. The dramatization forced new public sympathy for him. For the first time, younger audiences saw him as more than the Queen's shadow. Even critics admitted Smith captured his humour and insecurity authentically. The Duke's resistance softened over time. When asked again in later years, he reportedly said, "They've done worse things to us." That wry acceptance summed him up perfectly. His life, like the series, balanced pride and irony.
Now, finally, I love you more than I love Margaret. Oh, well, that made me happy.
Fact 5.
Each of them would have had the courage to express their anger to me directly. None of them would ever have resorted to going behind my back.
Though Buckingham Palace officially stayed silent, its staff privately tracked every episode. Former Press Secretary Dickie Arbiter revealed that aides kept internal notes comparing drama to record. Minor events like speech timings and audience sizes were often corrected in memos. They feared historical distortions could shape public memory. Yet the palace communications team avoided confrontation with Netflix. Their strategy was quiet oversight rather than public argument. Researchers consulted biographies by royal historian Hugo Vickers to separate truth from invention. Vickers later published entire essays listing inaccuracies. Still, he praised the production's eye for protocol detail. The courtier's secret monitoring became an open secret in London journalism. It showed the monarchy's awareness of pop culture influence. Behind the scenes, even officials admitted the show's visuals were alarmingly authentic. They marveled at seeing replicas of private rooms they knew intimately. The quiet fact-checking effort underscored how blurred reality and fiction had become. In its own way, the palace became a silent audience to its own myth.
But to everyone's regret and frustration, the only person I have ever loved is you.
Fact 6.
Declared dead. Darwin had nothing on you lot. Shame on all of you.
Before portraying Princess Margaret, Helena Bonham Carter sought permission from people who actually knew her. She met the late royal's friends and even her former astrologer. The actress later said she asked Margaret's blessing during meditation. While some called it superstition, Carter treated it as empathy. She collected recordings to capture Margaret's cadence, aristocratic yet rebellious. Her preparation included studying cigarette etiquette and posture from archived footage. Costumes replicated real Balmain gowns preserved by collectors. The level of detail impressed fashion historians. Carter admitted feeling haunted by the weight of expectation. Crew members joked her dressing room smelled perpetually of cigarette smoke and Chanel. Her portrayal balanced glamour with self-destruction. Historians noted that Margaret truly did battle depression and loneliness. Carter's performance drew directly from verified diaries and authorized biographies. It turned gossip into psychological portraiture. The actress later won critical acclaim and said, "I hope she'd forgive me." Many who knew the princess believed she would have.
And you've been struggling with your chest for a while.
Fact 7.
And for the first time, I saw all the hurt and the pain that I'd been inflicting on you.
When Emma Corrin was cast as Princess Diana, she was virtually unknown. The pressure was enormous. The most beloved woman of her era brought back to life. Corrin spent 6 months perfecting Diana's distinctive head tilt and shy mannerisms. She worked with dialect coach William Conacher on breathing patterns and rhythm. Costume designer Amy Roberts recreated Diana's gowns using archived sketches from the original designers. Corrin read Andrew Morton's Diana, Her True Story, cover to cover. She described filming the wedding dress scene as physically overwhelming. Crew members reportedly went silent when she entered set in the replica gown. Corrin emphasized authenticity over imitation. Every emotional breakdown in the script was based on documented interviews. Psychologists consulted to ensure sensitivity around mental health portrayal. Critics hailed her empathy as revolutionary for royal drama. The performance won a Golden Globe and a Critics' Choice Award. Corrin later said she hoped it reminded viewers that behind every crown is isolation. That insight was entirely factual and heartbreakingly human. Fact 8.
I've made a decision regarding the coronation committee, which is that I would like my husband to be the chairman.
The Crown became famous for obsessive production accuracy. Art directors visited stately homes resembling royal palaces to copy interiors inch by inch. Furniture replicas were commissioned from the same manufacturers used by Buckingham Palace. Lighting engineers mimicked the colour temperature of 1950s photography. Props departments imported period-correct telephones and typewriters from museums. The Queen's corgis were trained to respond to commands in RP English accents. Over 350 individual costumes were hand-stitched per season. The soundstage sets were so accurate that visiting dignitaries felt déjà vu. Even the Prime Minister's briefing folders carried historically correct seals. The show's archive team fact-checked every newspaper headline shown on screen. That precision blurred lines between reenactment and authenticity. Crew nicknamed the experience "living in a replica." Critics argued the realism misled viewers into believing every word was true. Yet the accuracy was visual, not ideological. The production's devotion to truth in texture made fiction feel historical. It demonstrated that realism can be its own illusion.
You sometimes think there's a difference between you and the rest of the family.
Yes.
Fact 9.
Charlotte of Luxembourg was also in the late 60s.
That's the Netherlands and Luxembourg. Bicycle monarchy is not the same thing at all.
Creator Peter Morgan based each season on years of research and interviews. He relied on biographers, archived documents, and parliamentary records. The goal was emotional truth rather than literal accuracy. Writers built large timelines linking political and personal milestones. Each episode was debated for months before approval. Consultants verified that no living royal could claim defamation. Morgan once said, "If history is the body, emotion is the heartbeat." Drafts were shared among historians for sensitivity checks. The showrunner deliberately avoided palace collaboration to protect independence. Dialogue drew from paraphrased memoirs and newspaper quotes. Ethical debates were constant. How far could invention go? The team decided never to create events that contradicted recorded fact. They condensed timelines, but not meaning. Their process mirrored academic research more than gossip. By balancing documentation with dramatization, they built credibility. That rigor explains why so many viewers mistake the show for pure history.
Having led him to believe his whole life that he was irresistible and invulnerable only to discover.
Fact 10.
I'm not remotely ready to take over.
No, but I wasn't either. Remember, I was so young.
Since its debut in 2016, The Crown has influenced global perception of monarchy. Universities now teach it in media and history courses. Google searches for royal biographies surged after every season. Tourism to royal landmarks rose significantly according to Visit Britain data. Claire Foy's and Olivia Colman's performances became reference points for leadership studies. Historians debate whether dramatization improved or distorted understanding. Netflix's viewership statistics confirm over 70 million households watched worldwide. Even Commonwealth nations used it to discuss colonial legacy. The show humanized the royal family, yet reignited Republican sentiment. It reshaped entertainment standards for historical drama. Political figures referenced it in parliamentary debates. The series' success demonstrated enduring fascination with monarchy myths. For the Windsors, it was both curse and blessing. The Crown turned private lives into shared folklore, and that transformation, though dramatized, is entirely real.